What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy. We know you're happy, safe, healthy. Let's go ahead and get into it. The Dallas Cowboys beat, nay, the Dallas Cowboys vanquished. Not enough. The Dallas Cowboys completely decimated, destroyed, eradicated the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. Nick Sirianni thought he was super cute with a t-shirt that said beat Dallas. Well, guess what, Nick Sirianni? You have no idea what you're doing, my friend. The Philadelphia Eagles got destroyed by the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football, 41-21, the final score. It is our post-game show, which means it is time to party here on the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. Once again, I'm RJ Ochoa, your lovely host for the evening. Make sure you subscribe here to the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. Like us on Facebook. We are streaming live on YouTube, on Facebook. This will be podcasted later for the podcast audience, obviously, that has to listen on the go, whatever the case may be. But let's celebrate here together. The Dallas Cowboys won. The Dallas Cowboys destroyed the Eagles. Aaron on Facebook says we are going to the Super Bowl. I'm going to leave Nick Sirianni's photo up here for a little bit just because it is so wonderful. It is so beautiful. Ninja says, already got the polo on. That's right, baby. It is a Victory Polo Monday coming to you tomorrow, even though it's a Tuesday. All right, let's get the branding right. It's Victory Polo Monday. The Dallas Cowboys not only won, the Dallas Cowboys in first place in the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys, the only team in the NFC East to experience victory in week 3. Man alive, we were all going into this game. We were all stressed. We were all nervous. Jimmy Johnson, Cliff Harris, and Drew Pearson got their Hall of Fame rings at halftime. Odessa says, how about them Cowboys? I mean, this was amazing. Now, Todd, I want to get started with this. Todd says this team is clearly different. Yes or no? Do you agree? Because I do. Going into this game, I said, and you said too, we all said some derivative of this. The Dallas Cowboys had to win this game with authority. We know the Philadelphia Eagles are not that great of a team. We know that, all right? We know that this is not a good team. By the way, the Cowboys just put them in their place. But we knew that. And good teams beat bad teams. Great teams destroy bad teams. The Dallas Cowboys, this is the type of game where they have shrunk. They have played down to their opponents before in different times, in different circumstances. They did not do that here. The Dallas Cowboys came out first possession, bam, touchdown, taking care of things on defense. The Cowboys defense tonight was phenomenal. Mitchell Green on YouTube says, ladies and gentlemen, the Cowboys are for real. I am over the moon. I'm ecstatic. I really am here. Michael says, beat down. I agree with you. Chris says, great win. Let's see here. Michael Thomas says, 8 turnovers forced in 3 regular season games leads the NFL. I believe that you are correct. Weston says, does a UPS polo count for Victory Polo Monday? I can't wear a polo to deliver packages. It sure does, Weston. Victory Polo Monday is not a fashion statement. It's a lifestyle. As long as you got a polo on in your heart, that's really all that matters. But all right, let's break this game down. Let's talk a little bit about it. Again, the Dallas Cowboys winning 41-21. We're going to say that a lot because it just sounds so good. The Dallas Cowboys won 41-21. It was amazing. It was incredible. And you know what? This game, Robert, let's see here. I've seen this. Robert says this was one hell of a game. I completely agree with you. All right. This was an incredible game, and this was an important moment for the Dallas Cowboys because it had been a long time since the Dallas Cowboys were above 500. And that's what this game was, an opportunity to get to above 500. The Dallas Cowboys are now 2-1. Do you have any idea how long it has been since the Dallas Cowboys have been above 500? We've Andy Dufresne this thing. All right, people, we have crawled through some stuff. It has been forever. The Dallas Cowboys have not been above 500 until now since before Thanksgiving 2019. The Dallas Cowboys got whipped themselves by the Buffalo Bills on Thanksgiving that day. Remember, Michael Bennett was pissed off about it in the locker room afterwards. They fell to 6-6. They never got above 500 over the rest of the season. Obviously, last year never got above 500. Obviously, lost the season opener this year. The Dallas Cowboys now firmly above 500 for the first time in a year and a half. Love to see it. Love. Let's see here. Alex says, Ocho, I know Diggs has been balling out and making sick plays, but everyone has to give it up for Dan Quinn. He has given us a round of applause. Seriously. Thank you, Dan Quinn. Dan, we love you. Dan, you are the man. Dak Prescott's being interviewed by Lisa Salters tonight on the broadcast. ESPN really wanted us to know that Dak Prescott was coming back from an injury, despite the fact that he has already played 2 games this season. Very interesting choice by the worldwide leader. But you mentioned Trayvon Diggs, and you know how we do it here on our post-game shows. We do winners, we do losers, we do honorable mentions. There is no question at all that the biggest winner is Trayvon Diggs. Holy crap. Luther says, I'm buying a Diggs jersey. I completely agree with you. Trayvon Diggs is the best defensive player on the Cowboys right now. And we thought he had this potential. We really did, but we just, it hadn't totally translated yet. We had seen flashes of it, obviously, his rookie year, but we really, really have started to see it so far early on this season. A couple notes about Trayvon Diggs. Number one, he has an interception in every single game this season for the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously had a pick six tonight against the Eagles. Another thing, Trayvon Diggs has never not had an interception against the Philadelphia Eagles. Think about that. Trayvon Diggs has played the Philadelphia Eagles four times in his young NFL, or three times, in his young NFL career. And I said four because he has 4 interceptions. Trayvon Diggs owns the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't get it mistaken. Trayvon Diggs, they all have to answer to him. Tim Logan says Diggs went to Hurts's face and said, no, sir, completely. Totally agree with you. Shout out to Hillary Molly Vegas. Thank you so much for the super chat. $9.99. You are the best, Molly. Thank you very much. It is a celebration here as the Dallas Cowboys destroy them. But Molly, your super chat says, my first super chat, LOL. We need to keep the safeties, Kellen and Quinn. Any ideas how we do that? It is important because I know that this idea is floating around in a lot of people's minds now. How do we keep Kellen Moore? How do we keep Dan Quinn? Everybody wants, everybody's going to want these guys. These guys are so great. Everybody is awesome. You're worried about this, and I get it. It's worth noting that Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn are both in the first of a 3-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys. They're on the first year of that. I didn't misspeak. I know that was kind of hard to understand. They are in their first year of a 3-year contract with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I think we all think that Kellen Moore's probably going to get some head coaching looks this season. In fact, the Philadelphia Eagles interviewed him to be their head coach this past offseason. Maybe they should have done that instead of Nick Sirianni. I digress. But I don't know that you can – I don't know how much longer you can protect Kellen Moore. Assuming this season kind of goes the way we think it's going to go as the Cowboys are now 2-1, this season is going to really highlight, just like Nick Sirianni's little visor. This is a whole different thing for me. I really 1,000% believe this isn't a joke. He's doing that as a bit. Nick Sirianni wants people to dress like him with the highlighter on his visor. I 1,000% believe it. That's a whole different subject. But it's going to be difficult to hide Kellen Moore. I think we have to start accepting that now. And we'll talk about Mike McCarthy because we have to get there. Huge mistake at the end of the first half. But maybe, I know people joke about this all the time, maybe Kellen Moore is the future head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I think that when we talk about that, we obviously go back to Jason Garrett and what happened in 2010, obviously, when he was the offensive coordinator and he took over for Wade Phillips, et cetera. Very different thing. But it's a little bit different because we're more confident in Kellen than we were in Jason Garrett at that time. Astro Joe, thank you very much for the super chat. You were the man. If you guys have questions and you super chat them, I promise we'll get to you first. Those are the rules. I don't make the rules here. Joseph, thank you for the super chat. Round of applause. Osa is a stud. Holy crap. Osa Odigizua. By the way, the Dallas Cowboys themselves just tweeted out a nice little Photoshop on of the t-shirt that Nick Sirianni wore. Man, Nick Sirianni, talk about being a bad head coach. All right, we'll get to Osa right now, but just Nick Sirianni incited this. I mean, Nick Sirianni, respect on trying to, make the rivalry a thing and everything like that. But man, Nick Sirianni really dug his grave this week, and it is tough. And if you think that things are bad for the Eagles now, they are 1-2, and their next opponent this week is a pissed off Kansas City Chiefs team. So watch out. The Eagles are about to drop to 1-3. You just hate to see it. You hate to see it. You hate to see the Philadelphia Eagles struggling. I know you do. Osa Odigizua. We talk winners and losers, and we're going all over the place, but that's because this is our post-game show, and you drive it. We love you here at Blogging the Boys. We love every single one of you that takes time to join us, to be live, to listen after the fact, whatever the case may be. This is your show. All right. I'm the puppet. You're the puppeteer, however you want to go. We have some loose rules, but we're going to fly wherever you want to go. And another winner, Osa Odigizua, to the point. Holy crap. Thank you, Joseph Heck, for bringing this up. Micah Parsons is amazing. I don't want to at all take away from this. And thank goodness he was all right there at the end of the game. I know the Cowboys sent him back, but what are you doing, Cowboys? Get him off the field. Micah is pivotal to what we want to do this season. But Osa Odigizua, if not for Micah Parsons, would be maybe challenging for a defensive rookie of the year. I know Patrick Surtain is out there, so I don't want to really let my imagination run away from itself. But I mean, holy crap, Osa Odigizua is amazing. I mean, we have known this for a while. We kind of thought it during the preseason, obviously. He came on strong, and he's had opportunities now because Neville Gallimore's gotten hurt. I hate to say that, Neville Gallimore getting hurt really allowed the Cowboys to learn about Osa Odigizua, but that's just kind of how fate works sometimes. I mean, if Kellen Moore hadn't gotten hurt, we never would have known about Dak Prescott, and Kellen might not have ever become an offensive coordinator and obviously would be the guy leading the Cowboys that we're talking about and that we're worried about losing. But Osa Odigizua, man alive. I mean, just if we power ranked right now, if we power rank the defensive players on the Cowboys tonight, the players on the Cowboys tonight, on their defense tonight, number 1, Trayvon Diggs, number 2, Micah Parsons, number 3 might be Osa. I mean, Osa Odigizua is incredible. I mean, just absolutely amazing. By the way, Sean says, shout out from Japan. Let's go. Oh my goodness. What a time to be alive, people. I mean, seriously, what a time to just be here with friends, with family. I mean, my goodness, what a time to be alive. What's Amada? How's it going? Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Everybody is just, we're going to get to Mike McCarthy. I see you guys in the comments, but I really do want to stay focused on the celebrations because, again, the Dallas Cowboys beat the crap out of the Philadelphia Eagles. We haven't shown any highlights yet, actually. Let's go ahead and show a highlight. This game got started with a huge CeeDee Lamb. It wasn't a touchdown, but it was a huge CeeDee Lamb gain. Let's take a look at that.
On 1st and 10 off the play fake. Elliott wants a deep shot, middle of the field. He's got it. CeeDee Lamb going to be just short of the goal line for 44 yards. Working on Steven Nelson.
And you're going to see CeeDee Lamb just take off and make a beeline for the goalpost. Middle of the field is vacated. And that's exactly what Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, told us he doesn't want to happen. He doesn't want the ball thrown over the.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, what an incredible catch by CeeDee Lamb. And we have a lot of other highlights to talk about. We have a lot of things to cover. And we've already touched on the fact that Osa Odigizua is awesome. We've already touched on the fact, obviously, that Trayvon Diggs is awesome. Let's keep moving in terms of winners. I thought this was a huge game for Zeke Elliott. Obviously, last week was interesting. Shane says winner, our offense. Agree as a whole. I mean, the offense was really just on fire all throughout the game. Had some moments in the third quarter that struggled, but Zeke Elliott, man, just a really impressive game. And not just impressive. People will look at the box score and say, well, he scored the 2 touchdowns, obviously, and that, you never want, or you never not want that. But I mean, Zeke was cutting. There were several cutbacks from Ezekiel Elliott tonight that, if we're all honest with ourselves, I think we thought were, something we would never see from him again. I think we've all expected to kind of see that juice from Tony Pollard, but we've kind of expected a different element from Zeke Elliott. And man, I mean, just incredible. Mark says Zeke proved his heart. Totally agree with that. Scott says ran with authority. 100% agreed. Let's see here. There was another Zeke. David says dude ran angry. 100%. I mean, this was a really, really, really just stout, impressive game for Ezekiel Elliott. Odessa says Zeke played hard. Totally agreed. Let's see here. I saw one more comment I wanted to get to. Where is it? Shane says 2016 Zeke is back. Shane, respect. We're enjoying the optimism. I'm not willing to go that far with you. Maybe after a couple more root beers, we'll see. John says, howdy from the Philippines. We're in Japan. We're in the Philippines. What's going on, people? Tonight rules. But Zeke, I mean, just seriously. Salam says Zeke was finishing the run. 100%. Daru Brown says feed Zeke. I mean, we have really wanted to see this performance from Ezekiel Elliott for a very long time. Last year, the very first game against the Los Angeles Rams, I thought we were maybe onto something with Zeke, and it ultimately didn't work out. But, man, I mean, just a really, really, really nice game from Zeke. Andy says Zeke was running like Barber, obviously talking about Marion Barber there. Craig says he is back, never left. Little debatable, but I don't want to, we're celebrating. I don't want to, go down, anything. Mark says we have a 2-headed monster in the backfield. Seriously. I mean, I think we do have there's a certain point that you can reach as a player or as a coach where you just have as Dallas Cowboys fans, implicit trust. We will trust anything you do. We will trust any direction you want to go. And Kellen Moore has that now. And Zeke, Tony Pollard, the combination of them really is remarkable. It's working out in a great way. Watsamata, thank you for the super chat. Watsamata, round of applause for you. You are the best. Thank you very much. Again, if you guys super chat, we will go wherever you want. You drive this ship. I'm just here. I'm just a talking head. Watsamata says all this without D-Log, Gallimore, Neal, Armstrong, Donovan Wilson. This is a really important point because we'll segue into talking about Mike McCarthy because I know everybody wants to, and we'll do that so we can get through it, and then we can talk obviously about the other things that we want to celebrate. this was really impressive. And keep in mind, the Friday after the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we all woke up that Friday morning and we all said, you know what, man, we're pissed. The Cowboys lost. They had it. They should have won, man. That pass interference, all this stuff. We had all those conversations with ourselves, our families, our friends, etc. And we said, but you know what? They competed with the Bucs, and this team's going to be really good. And I can really see that happening. And then all hell broke loose because Michael Gallup out 3 to 5 weeks with the calf strain. Lyle Collins suspended. By the way, that turned a whole different direction this past Sunday morning. DeMarcus Lawrence breaks his foot. Zach Martin comes back from COVID, protocol. All right, great. But Randy Gregory's in COVID protocol. Donovan Wilson has a groin strain. Ty Nsekhe has heat exhaustion. And so you're just thinking like, man, how is this team gonna survive? And since all of that happened, they are 2-0. And I have a lot to say about Mike McCarthy, as I know you do too, but they are 2-0 since all of that happened. And that is impressive. And that is, something that I do believe to a certain degree Mike McCarthy deserves credit for. But obviously there are some things that Mike McCarthy definitely deserves criticism for, despite the fact that his team walloped the Philadelphia Eagles 41-21. In case anybody forgot, the Dallas Cowboys destroyed the Philadelphia Eagles 41-21 on Monday Night Football. I had a bet, by the way, in case any of you follow me on Twitter at RJ Ochoa, with Brandon Gouton, who is the me from our Philadelphia Eagles side at SB Nation. He is on Twitter at Brandon Gouton, and as the loser of this week's bet, because the Eagles lost to the Cowboys, he has to change his profile picture to the Blogging the Boys logo. All right, I'm a company man here. All right, so I can't wait to see that. But let's see, Joshua, thank you so much for the super chat. It says first time in a while for both Dak and Zeke that they both went off. Great game for them to have a day for themselves. Double strong emoji. Everything is looking up. It's a great point. It had been a long time since we saw kind of a Dak and Zeke game. And we really saw, everything clicked tonight. The camaraderie's there. The vibes are good. Everything is copacetic, man. Everything is better when you win. And obviously the Dallas Cowboys have now won 2 games in a row. And so, hey, that's good. So Kevin, let's see here. Hillary Molly Vegas with the big time super chat. Thank you very much. Says, thanks so much for this blog. Molly, you're very kind. Thank you so much. You were the best for this blog and the kindness all BTB peeps give to the fans. Coop was a great decoy and will continue to be better for next week. Kudos, Zeke, Micah, and Trayvon. Totally agree. This wasn't Amari's big night. He's had a huge reputation for destroying the Philadelphia Eagles. Amari Cooper has in games that were specifically played at AT&T Stadium. And Amari Cooper, we all knew, dealing with the rib thing that he suffered in week 1 against the Buccaneers, but really just was a total team player. Had some critical catches tonight. We have some other winners that we'll get to, another pass catcher as well. But Amari is just, I think we do tend to undervalue Amari. It's weird. It's really is strange. We're coming up on the 3-year anniversary next month. The Cowboys trading for him on October 22nd. And man, he is dramatic. Everything, if you go back to the break point where things changed for this era of the Dallas Cowboys, it was the arrival of Amari Cooper, and he deserves all the praise in the world for his game tonight against the Eagles. Remember, the Philadelphia Eagles traded for Darius Slay and then paid him specifically to neutralize Amari Cooper, and they are 0-1 against the Dak Prescott-led Dallas Cowboys since then. So, I would say that you hate to see it, but I really don't hate to see it. I love to see it, if I'm being totally honest. But I agree, Zeke was phenomenal. Just a great game from Zeke. Great balance by Kellen Moore in the run game overall. Dak, dude, respect on sliding and getting down, but maybe don't run a lot. You're playing with my heart. You know what I mean? I'm not ready for that. It's week 3. It's a long season. It's a marathon sort of thing. Micah Parsons, incredible. Again, Cowboys at the very end, get him out of there. We don't need Micah Parsons taking any chances. He was just, seriously, what he has done through 3 NFL games is remarkable. I really can't believe it. It's funny to look back that so many of us were disappointed with him. And the fact that the Cowboys had to settle for him in the draft. Trayvon Diggs, we mentioned, obviously, just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let's see here. We have another super chat. You all are so kind, so generous. Let's see. At Dallas Cowboy Blue says, what about more motion and play action on offense to help keep the defense constantly off balance? The Cowboys haven't been a high rate usage team when it comes to pre-snap motion this year. One of the lower teams in the NFL is always the New York Giants, just because Jason Garrett. But I don't know that that's as necessary when you're as talented as they are, because you don't have to rely on those things. Dak Prescott tonight, pre-snap was incredible. So much action. I'll be honest with you guys. We talked about this going into the week. I have not watched the Manning cast of this game. I watched the regular broadcast just because, for what we do, I kind of have to focus on this kind of stuff. And so I'm excited to see what Peyton Manning saw. I know he had a comment on Mike McCarthy, and I promise we are getting there. Let's see here. Everybody is all over the place, and I love it. Alex, thank you for the super chat. Says Mike had them prepared and fired up. All right. We're going to do this. We're going to have the Mike McCarthy conversation. Remember, before we have the conversation, everybody, that we're all happy. All right. We're all good. We're all in a good mood. Christopher says, good win, boys. I agreed. I agree. Rich says, why does McCarthy get so much hate? I think the answer is because McCarthy hyped himself. I think McCarthy doesn't know or didn't know last year when to chill when it came to speaking publicly. I mean, he had the joke at the opening press conference. Yeah, I didn't watch all the games. I just said that to get the job. I'm Mr. Pro Football Focus. I went to their headquarters in Cincinnati, on and on and on. And so he kind of stuck his foot in his mouth a few times. And so that's where the idea started. I will be honest with you guys. One of my losers, Mike McCarthy. I only have 3 losers, or 4 losers, excuse me. Every week after every Cowboys game, I write losers, winners, and winners, losers, and honorable mentions at bloggingtheboys.com. 5 winners. We'll get to the rest of them. I have 4 losers, and Mike McCarthy is one of them, because what are you doing at the end of the first half, Coach McCarthy? Now, look, again, we're all happy. The Dallas Cowboys won. The Dallas Cowboys lambasted the Philadelphia Eagles, and that is the most important thing here. But I mean, this could have come down to the points that Mike McCarthy squandered. Shane says McCarthy does it to himself. Now, I'll be honest here. I don't want to go all the way back to last week, but I did not have a problem with the way the Cowboys handled the end of the game against the Los Angeles Chargers. But I did have a problem with the way the Cowboys handled the end of the first half against the Buccaneers when they trotted Greg Zuerlein out for a 60-yard field goal. They gave the Buccaneers great field position. And at the end of this first half against the Eagles, Mike McCarthy is just chill. I mean, just totally chill about the fact that the clock is winding down. He has 2 timeouts. He can totally use them. I mean, he can give the Cowboys another opportunity. At the time, the Cowboys are up big, and McCarthy's even asked by the ref. Ben Baldwin of The Athletic does a great job covering the NFL, tweeted out the clip of this. McCarthy says, I'm good. And I do not understand that. I can't look. I feel like I've gone to bat a little bit for Mike McCarthy more than other people. But I can't get on board with that. Now, Erica offers this out. I'm sorry, Erica. Here we go. I think that McCarthy knew the offense was gassed. That's possible, and maybe he's forfeiting that, whatever. If he's comfortable. See, this is the idea I disagree with. F. Kit Crutch says, we had a lead. Why get greedy at halftime? Because it's the first half, because you don't know what things are going to happen in the second half. You don't know if the Eagles are going to come back. You don't know if there's going to be a weird penalty that gives them great field position. You don't know if there's going to be a fumble. You don't know if you're going to have a weird punt that they return. You don't know a billion different things that could lead to you ultimately, being on the wrong end of that. And so, scoring is, you only have so many scoring opportunities in the NFL, and they are precious, and you have to take advantage of all of them. And Mike McCarthy squandered one. He actually threw one away. And he has one of the best offenses in the NFL, and he just didn't want to do it. I mean, it's difficult to understand. I'm excited. Obviously, we're here now, in our postgame show, and I'm seeing if he has said anything about this. I really would love to hear him, answer what he was thinking here. But man, it's difficult to understand. Odessa says he needs to take time management classes. See, I don't totally agree that he's butchering time management. I think he's butchering some specific things. Now, DJ Dog 31, what's up, DJ Dog, says he is going to say he was worried about the Eagles going for it on 4th down, and if they did make it, taking timeouts would left the Eagles more time. Okay, and I know Peyton Manning did say this on the Manning cast. Who cares? Call the timeout. If there was a comment a moment ago that said, oh, he trusts his defense. If you trust your defense, you're dominating them at that point in time, then call the timeout. Stop them on 4th down. Give yourself even better field position. You might score a touchdown then instead of a field goal. I really disagree with the mentality that Mike McCarthy had. I do think it's important to give this coach credit, and I think that that's what happens with him, is that people look at the mistakes, the things like this, the little whoopsie-daisies, and they say, man, he sucks. He's a loser. He's just making this up, whatever. He doesn't know anything. He needs time management classes. I don't fall into that category, but I do think that there are some flaws, some warts, and I think that that's worth saying. If you can learn those lessons in wins, that's ultimately what you want. You don't want to learn lessons in losses, but it was difficult. Now, Colby brings up an interesting point. I think people actually aren't being hard enough on Kellen Moore. He gets too fancy too often when the simple plays are working and gets away from what works. Repeatedly got too cute. This is a fair point. And again, this is kind of the opposite, side of the spectrum, or the inverse spectrum. I don't know what words I'm using, but the opposite situation of Mike McCarthy, where no matter what Mike McCarthy does, there's nothing that Mike McCarthy can do. And I think that you will, as the generic, average, perfect Dallas Cowboys fan, will agree with this. There's nothing that Mike McCarthy can do where he will receive 100% full consensus praise. Nothing. There's nothing, because anything that the Dallas Cowboys do well is only attributed to the specific situations that people want to attribute it to. The offense does well. Kellen Moore is awesome. The defense does well. Dan Quinn is awesome. Dak Prescott leads a comeback drive at the end of the game. Dak Prescott's awesome. All these things are true. But if we're going to blame Mike McCarthy, and we should, because he's the head coach, then we should give him some credit. And that's why, I wanted to say at the very beginning of all this that I do believe that Mike McCarthy deserves an enormous amount of praise for the way the team has played in the middle of a lot of football adversity. The fact that they are 2-1 with a win over a very talented team in the Los Angeles Chargers, with a home divisional win over a team that was like super pumped to play them because the Eagles, just can't think about anybody but the Cowboys. I mean, it is an impressive start to the season. Is it perfect? No, but Mike McCarthy has, developed a nice and interesting culture, and he deserves some credit for that. But on the other side of that, nobody will ever criticize Kellen Moore because he's the boy wonder. Everybody wants to always hype and elevate Kellen Moore, which is fine, and he will probably be a head coach in the NFL sooner rather than later. But Kellen Moore's red zone play calling is a little bit suspect, and it does seem to this point, to Colby's point, that sometimes he gets a little too cute. Sometimes he overthinks things. And, obviously Dak Prescott has a lot of discretion at the line of scrimmage, and you can't take away from that. But Kellen Moore, sometimes the simple stuff works. Sometimes the simple stuff works. Let's see here. Mark says, how sweet it is to beat the Eagles after that rubbish about those t-shirts. I like the word rubbish here. I think it's disgraceful. Even their coach wore one, but that just goes to show how classless the Eagles are. The Eagles are losers. As Rout Wedding says, winning is better than losing. Don't let anybody ever forget it tonight. The Dallas Cowboys won and the Philadelphia Eagles lost. And the reason that those things are true is because the Dallas Cowboys destroyed the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, a lot of you are bringing this up, so I'll go ahead and go here. Another loser, in fact, my second loser, Tyler Biadasz. Dude, man, this is an awkward conversation because everybody wants Tyler Biadasz to be great. And Andre says center is a big problem for the Dallas Cowboys. I agree with you. And everybody thought that just because he went to Wisconsin, just because the Cowboys drafted him, the year that Travis Frederick retired, the fact that the Cowboys actually traded with the Eagles to draft him, everybody thought everything's going to be fine. Everybody thought everything's going to be good. He's going to be great. He's going to be awesome, etc. Blah, blah, blah. That is not necessarily the case. I mean, Tyler Biadasz, and this isn't a one-game reaction here. Tyler Biadasz has been not good for the Dallas Cowboys this season. He's been their worst offensive lineman as far as Pro Football Focus grades are concerned. And I don't know how – we saw Connor McGovern play fullback tonight. McCarthy, Philbin, whoever – let McGovern play center. I mean, if you're going to trot the guy out at fullback to be a lead blocker of some sort, I mean, let McGovern play center because this Biadasz thing is not working. Now, to be clear, tonight was just his 6th start in the NFL. And so, there's a learning curve there. The Monday Night Football broadcast went way out of their way to say that Jalen Hurts was basically a rookie because he's starting, so few games in the NFL. That's also true for Tyler Biadasz. He's being tasked with an enormous amount of things, being the center, making the checks, on and on and on. But he got dominated tonight. In fact, the Eagles' first touchdown really came because Tyler Biadasz couldn't handle Javon Hargrave.
And 6 just inside the 5. Dak from his own end zone lost the football. Comes out, the Eagles have it, and it's a touchdown for Philadelphia. Fletcher Cox, the heartbeat of this Eagles defense. And just what Philadelphia needed to answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Andre says RJ Biadasz needs to get much stronger. Yeah, he really does. But I mean, this is, and Kevin, I agree with this. Says center should not be one-on-one ever. That's on Kellen, especially a young center that we know is not working out. Asa says, I haven't pronounced this correctly, says no other center is getting blown off the ball like that. Agree with you. I mean, Brian says sickening. I'm sick. I mean, it's tough. I mean, yeah, this is on Dak. This is on Kellen. This is on the offense as a whole. But I mean, it is not, and that's not the only moment that, Tyler Biadasz struggled. By the way, we have over 1,000 live viewers. I just want to shout that out. Over 1,000 people here to celebrate the fact that the Dallas Cowboys destroyed the Philadelphia Eagles. We thank you for being one of the many here at Blogging the Boys, you watching live with us on the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel, the Blogging the Boys Facebook page. I'm so pumped. I'm so happy. I'm talking so fast. I'm worried about my well-being. But yeah, I mean, this is tough. This is a tough look Eric says the Cowboys need to find a center. Yeah, I mean, and some of these things are really obvious, not obvious fixes, but there are obvious paths to fixing them. And the Cowboys banked on the fact that Tyler Biadasz was going to be the guy in 2021, and he hasn't been. And so you have time to figure it out, but man alive, I mean, it's rough. Now, Andre says Connor Williams had 3 or 4 penalties. Not good. In fact, on one Cowboys touchdown drive, Connor Williams had 2 holding penalties. And, you know, I think the Eagles defensive line is, you know, interesting. And, you know, we have to keep that in mind, certainly when we're considering the opponent the Cowboys are up against. But, you know, Connor, you can't have penalties. Joel says Victory Polo Tuesday. That's right. Victory Polo Monday taking place on a Tuesday. Let's respect the brand. Alex, thank you for the super chat. RJ, do you think Hurts is the answer? You know, actually, being totally honest here, Jalen Hurts, who has never defeated the Dallas Cowboys, I think it's way too soon, but man, I'm not optimistic. I think this is a season where the Eagles are clearly learning a lot or trying to learn a lot, but man alive, just not good. Now, Larry Wright says bring back Joe Looney. For what it's worth, we get this question a lot. The New York Giants hold Joe Looney's rights, so they really cannot bring him back. He is a content creator for the Dallas Cowboys, though, so, you know, that's nice at least. Hey. But, okay, let's see here. Let's get back to winners because we've talked a couple of losers, and I want to shout out, we've talked Trayvon Diggs, Zeke Elliott, Osa Odighizuwa as winners. How about Dalton Schultz, people? Dalton Schultz. Look, I've been a Blake Jarwin stan for a long time, and it's okay if you're still a Blake Jarwin stan. It's okay if I'm still a Blake Jarwin stan. We have to admit it. Dalton Schultz is one of the is Dalton actually let's play this question. Yes or no? For our live audience here. Yes or no? Is Dalton Schultz one of the 10 best tight ends in the NFL? Top 10. That's a lot. That's a top third. Is he one of the 10 best tight ends in the NFL? Because I think the answer is yes. Dalton Schultz is incredible. And we obviously know that he's a great blocker. He's great in the passing game, again, in that or the run game, excuse me. And that's why he gets opportunities over Blake Jarwin. But he is also a passing threat. I mean, we talk so much about how Blake Jarwin is that guy. He's a great athlete. He's got these great hands, and he does. And Blake Jarwin had a nice game too. But, Dalton Schultz, I mean, when you talk about tight ends in the NFL, you obviously have your George Kittles, your Travis Kelce's, your Darren Wallers, Rob Gronkowski's back this season. Then you get into a different, kind of sector. I think Dalton Schultz is in the same neck of the woods as Mike Gesicki, as Robert Tonyan. I mean, as any Logan Thomas. I mean, I think Dalton Schultz is a better tight end than Evan Ingram in New York. I mean, he is kind of slept on, and it's difficult. It's actually almost impossible to be underrated and play for the Dallas Cowboys. Larry says re-sign him. Dalton isn't a contract. I don't want to make any of you panic. Larry says he's in the top 5. Again, it's tough there for me. Ryan says Schultz is balling. Yeah, seriously, Dalton Schultz is amazing. And I love what Kevin said here. Schultz is a first down machine. And you just kind of feel that way. You just kind of feel when you're watching, like, ball goes to Dalton Schultz, boom, first down, 12 yards, 16 yards, 18 yards, nice, broken tackle, move the chains. Like, it's just really that, that obvious. Reginald says Schultz is now our tight end 1. I think he's been that way. But again, I think some of us have kind of held on to this Blake Jarwin thing and kind of, I'm not saying any of this to make, it a competition or, a dramatic thing, I'm not trying to stir the pot in any way, but we've kind of wondered, is this still a competition between Schultz and Jarwin? But it is not a competition in any way, shape, or form. My cousin, Jeremy Rodriguez, what's up, says Schultz has that glue on his gloves, doesn't drop anything. Seriously. I mean, he is just the man. And Dalton Schultz scored in this game, was incredible. I mean, Dalton Schultz had 2 touchdowns. And the fact that we haven't shown them yet is criminal.
Prescott wants his tight end. Schultz, touchdown, Dallas.
Oh, yeah. That's the first one. All right, that's the first one. Dalton Schultz had 2 touchdowns. The second one was awesome because the second one was icing on the cake. The second one was when the party started.
3rd and 1. Dak to throw for it. Got Schultz. First down and more. Schultz cuts it back in and into the end zone. Touchdown, Cowboys.
When a team has run the ball on you like this over and over again, as a linebacker, you wind up saying, hey, look, I need to get involved. I need to insert against the run. And right here, he just turns loose Schultz. And then comes back and misses the tackle. And see right here.
Dalton Schultz. I mean, Dalton freaking Schultz. That was, you know what that was on that play? That was give up. That was give up from the Philadelphia Eagles because the Dallas Cowboys broke their back. The Dallas Cowboys broke the soul of the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. The Dallas Cowboys stunted on the Philadelphia Eagles so hard tonight that Cooper Rush got in the game. Think about that. That's nuts. That the Dallas Cowboys destroyed them that badly. Watsamata, thank you for the super chat, says Jarwin is a deep threat. Schultz roams the midfield like a pit bull. Seriously, I mean, he is just unbelievable. Danny Martinez says that one Eagles fan in the clip, obviously, it's my impersonation of the Eagles fan just realizing that their life is going to be terrible for the rest of the season. Yeah, it would suck. Can you imagine your favorite football team not winning a game in the NFC East this week? Because I can't, and I know that you can't actually, but Philadelphia Eagles fans, New York Giants fans, and Washington football team fans can all imagine that this week because that's exactly what happened. Doxson says Dalton's got the air brakes. Totally agree. Reginald says, RG, you got to give Randy Gregory some love. He was in the Philly backfield all game tonight. All right, we've given some love to Dalton Schultz. Let's talk about it. Randy Gregory, my goodness. And I will own this. I did not totally believe. And I will say the reason I didn't totally believe is because we hadn't seen a full body of work from Randy Gregory in a long time. So I wasn't suspicious. I just went into it with some hesitation, some reservations, probably the best word to say. But Randy Gregory is looking just man alive. I mean, seriously, he is looking like every bit, and it's been awesome to see the Dallas Cowboys stand by Randy Gregory from a personal perspective, but he is also looking like the football player that they believed in from day one, 6 years ago when they took him with the 60th overall pick in the 2015 NFL draft. He was so responsible for so much damage. It won't show up in the box score, but as Tim notes here, holding plays kept him from sacks. I mean, Randy Gregory was in everything. I mean, and we've seen that. And think of, we obviously don't know, and there's, don't mean to turn this into this discussion, but we don't know all the effects that everybody sustains from COVID. Randy Gregory tested positive for COVID. That's why he missed the Chargers game. And he comes in and just picks up right where he left off, dominates. Randy Gregory's played 2 games for the Cowboys so far this season. He has been a man on fire. Justin says, I'm glad no penalties on Gregory. Root Wedding says Gregory played mean. Yeah, it was mean. Michael says, I believe Gregory, his motor has been receding up since last season. Totally agree. Totally agree. Let's see here. Let's go here. Let's go. Where do we want to go next? We've talked about where do you want to go next? Braden says, by the way, while we read Braden's comment, who do you want to talk about next? Again, I'm a man of the people. So whoever you want to talk about next, I got you. But Braden says, that's why we should be excited. The Eagles are the worst. The Eagles are the worst. I just want to say that again. The Eagles, they're terrible. The Eagles suck. It's awesome. I mean, what a time to be alive. What a time to be with our friends, our family, all of us together here celebrating. I mean, the Eagles are terrible. Let's see here. Let's go here. Watsamata says more digs. And you know what? We have not shown this yet, and that's on me. I'm a loser. All right, I put myself on the loser. Trayvon Diggs, we talked about it. We gassed it up. I'm going to set the stage one more time, all right, as I look for it here. All right, Trayvon Diggs has played 3 games against the Philadelphia Eagles in his young career, all right? 3 games. He has picked them off 4 times, all right? He has picked Jalen Hurts off every single time he's played him. Jalen Hurts has not only never beaten the Dallas Cowboys, but Jalen Hurts has thrown an interception in every single game he's played the Dallas Cowboys. More specifically, Jalen Hurts has thrown an interception to Trayvon Diggs every single time that he has played the Dallas Cowboys. All of these are facts. All of these things are objectively, undeniably, unequivocally true. And here is the pick 6 because it's just the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't forget, the Dallas Cowboys traded out of the 10th overall pick with the Eagles to let them take Devontae Smith. They traded back to 12. They got an extra 3rd round pick, and they took Micah Parsons. And it was Devontae Smith who got burned by his former collegiate teammate, Trayvon pick 6 Diggs.
Hurts the throw. It's picked off. It's Trayvon Diggs down the sideline. Nobody's going to catch him. House call. Trayvon Diggs pick 6. Touchdown Dallas.
Watch the break from Trayvon Diggs right here. The route is this. The receiver falls down. Trying to throw the quick out, but watch Diggs read that route by Devontae Smith. Those two were at Alabama together. They practiced against one another. They know what they like to do. They know their tendencies. And Trayvon Diggs read Smith like a book.
I mean, what do you say? I mean, seriously, what do you say? Benny says, beautiful thing. I've got to be honest. I still don't like the number change rule, but Trayvon in number 7 looks sick. And that one was worth 7. I mean, just a great job by Trayvon Diggs. Just an incredible moment, seriously. And this was the beginning of the second half, and we were all kind of touch and go after the McCarthy miscue at the end of the first half. So Trayvon, obviously the game got a little bit more contentious as it went on, but for him to just kind of put it out of reach, I mean, and Jaron Kearse coming into the end. I mean, this has been a platoon effort for the Cowboys secondary group, which has been so awesome 3 games in. Let's see here. Hillary Molly Vegas, thank you again for the super chat, Molly. You're the best. Can McGovern play center? If there's a chance, they should really explore that because it's an issue. 1,000%. Team Connor McGovern to center right here. Line up. Everybody get in. Group hug right here. Socially distance. I mean, let Connor McGovern play center. Let anybody who is not Tyler Biadasz play center. I hate to say it that way, but, we got a good football team on our hands. All right? We can't jeopardize everything, but, we'll see what happens over here. Let's see here. John Clevenger says, so happy we have Diggs. So happy what Parsons' attitude brings to the defense. Trayvon Diggs, by the way, meeting with the local media tonight. And was asked if he is putting the league on notice. And he said, I'm trying to let them know that I'm here. Trayvon Diggs has had an interception in every single game this season. I like this comment from Larry. He says, hey, RJ, new name for Diggs, Diggs 6. We got to workshop this a little bit here. I'm not, it doesn't like roll off the tongue, but I like where our head's at, here. So, good for this. Okay, we've given Diggs some love, rightfully so. We don't get an opportunity to do this a lot. All right, so let's go ahead and do it. Michael Hurst brings up Anthony Brown got himself a pick. All right, look, I got to be honest. I was a little shocked. All right, and that's I'm still in a state of shock. I mean, it's Anthony Brown, right? Like, how can we, we have grown, not to expect this. And Anthony Brown had himself an interception in a real life NFL game. Good for Anthony Brown. And you know what? That doesn't necessarily mean that we're super confident in Anthony Brown moving forward, but this was good, although it was not a difficult play to make. But still, hey, congratulations on an NFL interception.
Johnson's a different animal.
Zach Ertz is in there, just activated off the COVID list. Jalen Reagor can't get there. And the Cowboys do with Anthony Brown. Able to pick off Hurts. And that is the first turnover of the season by this Eagles offense.
I mean, what do you do? Where Fans Meet says that was a layup interception for Anthony Brown. I don't give him much credit. I know, but again, we're being positive here. In case anybody hasn't seen it yet, because I know some of you came in late, we have 2 things to show you. Number 1, Nick Sirianni's shirt. We have proposed this as an amendment to the shirt that Nick Sirianni wore. You cannot convince me that this highlighter on the visor thing is not purposeful. I'm telling you, I really believe he wants Eagles fans to dress up as him for Halloween, and if they do, they have to dress up like somebody who goes to AT&T Stadium and gets the tar kicked out of them. The Dallas Cowboys destroy the Philadelphia Eagles. We mentioned it, but I don't think we properly mentioned this. Trayvon Diggs is our star of the game. In case that wasn't obvious, Trayvon Diggs, I mean, seriously. I mean, just what a phenomenal performance. The Cowboys had a great overall performance from their secondary tonight against the Philadelphia Eagles. And some of that's that Jalen Hurts is not great, but some of that is that the Cowboys defense is starting to take hold. And obviously Dan Quinn deserves a lot of credit. Now, Cactus G does say we gave it right back. Yes, the Fletcher Cox touchdown happened, which wasn't great, but it is what it is. Something we haven't gotten to yet, and we now have over 1,100 people with us live. Thank you all very much. Seriously, at Blogging the Boys, our job is to make sure that we give you the best Dallas Cowboys content possible, and we really take that seriously, and we take a lot of pride in it. Please visit bloggingtheboys.com. Please subscribe here to the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. We do these after every Dallas Cowboys game. It's now time. Everybody grab a pitchfork. Everybody get pissed. Everybody get pissed off. All right, because how is this not a touchdown?
4th and goal. Dak wants to run for it. Waiting for the signal, and the ball comes out, and let's see.
How's that not a touchdown? You know who one of my losers is? NFL officiating. How is this not a touchdown? I will not understand this. this is a touchdown. I've watched a lot of football in my life. All right. I don't need to go to the Pro Football Focus headquarters to understand this. That is a touchdown. That will always be a touchdown. That should always be a touchdown. Paul says absolutely a touchdown. Colby says, oh, this is a family show. Colby, let's be cool. So we're not going to show that comment. Mark Campbell says that was a TD all day long. Kevin Stone says terrible sneak by Dak, though. Not the point, but definitely a good one. Burmy Star says that was a horrible call. I agree. Let's see here. Benny, appreciate your vigor, but again, family show here. Jag says it was a touchdown. Let's see here. Michael says, right. I feel the same way. Seriously. I mean, I just don't understand how this is not a touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. And then you get, this is where like we have become too smart of a society. We overthink ourselves. All right. And, the Monday Night Football broadcast, the standard broadcast, if you might have watched the Manning cast, is talking about, well, if they piece this together, if they look at one, clip, one angle, and they look at the composite moment where his elbows, it's like, no, I mean, show that clip to any random sports bar in America, and they will all say it's a touchdown. That should be the way we decipher whether things are or are not things. David says, count it. Burmy Star says his waist was over the line, but the ball wasn't. Chris says he got in twice. I agree with that. I mean, it was just stupid. I mean, honestly, it was actually stupid that this was not a touchdown. Now, look, I suppose that my brain can comprehend the idea that, you can't see the ball because Dak's on top of it. You can see his whole body, though. You know what I mean? Like, you can see the fact that his entire upper body has crossed the goal line. And so that is a touchdown. And I just don't understand how that was not called one. But, it is what it is. By the way, Charles Lopez says line 3.5 Dallas, too easy. The Dallas Cowboys now 3-0 against the spread this season, in case anybody's keeping track. So it is what it is. But, man, I just really have a hard time, understanding how this was not a touchdown, But, hey, Free Yay K says Zeke should have ran it, though. I disagree with this. That's 4th and goal. I love the call. But if you're going to do a sneak and you're not going to, again, not the best sneak that we've ever seen from Dak Prescott, do the Drew Brees thing, the jump stretch, the just jumping. Because, again, all you got to do is break the airspace of the end zone. You know what I mean? So I don't like handing it off. If it's 4th and goal on the 1-inch line, I don't like the idea of handing the ball off backwards behind me. The goal is to move forward. So I love the play call, but the ruling was terrible. The Cowboys should have had 48 points. Cowboys should have had 49 points, actually. And that brings up one of my other losers, Greg Zuerlein. I have 4 losers. Like I said, Mike McCarthy, Tyler Biadasz. We just discussed NFL officiating. Greg Zuerlein. I'm going to ask this question, and I have a feeling the answer is going to be mean to Greg Zuerlein. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most, 10 being you would fall backwards into Greg Zuerlein's arms, and 1 being, I'm not even going to sleep around this guy. How much do you trust Greg Zuerlein? 1 to 10. All right, with 1 being the least, 10 being the most. How much do you trust Greg Zuerlein, who missed a kick again? Now, kudos to Greg Zuerlein. Made the game winner last week. We're all very thankful. But you know what that really is, Greg Zuerlein? That's just you doing your job. I'm not asking for kudos, when I type. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's asking for kudos when they do their job. David says 10. I think he misunderstood the question. Paul says 7. Burmy Star says -10. Andrew says 0. Miguel says -5. F-Kit says 4. We got a lot of 4s, 3s. I mean, etc. We got another -10. Braden offers some context. It's 5. It would be lower if he didn't get the game winner last week, but nervous every time he goes up. I tweeted this after the Buccaneers game. I've actually forgotten it now in my euphoria because the Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles. But I believe Greg Zuerlein has now missed a kick in something. He's played now 19 games for the Dallas Cowboys. He's missed a kick in something like 10 of them, 10 or 11. I mean, he has missed at least 1 kick almost 50% of the time. Let's see here. We have a comment here from Swag Highlights. It says, Cowboys suck. Hey, guess what, Swag Highlights? I guess you must be an Eagles fan. Tough cookies. Anyway, so Damon Davis says, Zuerlein has to go. Missing extra points is unacceptable. Here's the thing, and I kind of agree with Damon, which is what a lot of sharks say. That's right. Anyway, look, Greg, you missed a field goal. We're still pissed, but that happens, right? Like, some field goals are tough, right? Like, you got wind, you've got a lot going on here, Greg Zuerlein. We can get that, we can at least comprehend the idea of missed field goals. But we have played 3 games And Greg Zuerlein has missed an extra point in 2 of them. 2 of them. 2 of 3. I can tell you the percentage on that. That's 67%. I mean, that is not good. And so, and Chris brings this up. This is a great point. The first extra point barely snuck in. I mean, look, sometimes, we all like exhilaration in life, right? Like we go on roller coasters, right? Like, we seek thrills in life. This isn't a thrill that I'm seeking. I don't need this. This needs to be a very boring process for me. You know what the best part about having a great kicker is, if you're a football fan, is that after the Cowboys score an awesome touchdown and stun on the Eagles again, you get to go to the bathroom because the extra point's good. You get to go to the kitchen to get more of whatever you're eating because the extra point's good. You get to check your phone and check your Twitter, follow Blogging the Boys on Twitter, Blogging the Boys, because the extra point's good. But we can't do that. Think about all the valuable seconds of our life that Greg Zuerlein is costing us because we can't utilize the extra points. It is a problem. It is now an unavoidable problem. There has to be something. You cannot say that this is totally fine. Everything's good. Everything's awesome. I said everything's good twice. I don't know why. You cannot say that everything is fine. Cornfed says, would you rather have Dan Bailey or Greg the Leg? I love Dan Bailey. Absolutely love him. One of the greatest people that's played for the Cowboys. But I would rather have Greg Zuerlein right now, if I'm being honest with you. But, it is what it is. I do want to say one thing, and I'm trying to find the comment here. Let's see here. Where is it? I had this comment that was something that was really hilarious, but I've lost it now. Paul says, has RJ given Zeke props yet? Yeah, we gave Zeke props back. Totally. Zeke was awesome tonight. Zeke was incredible tonight. He was one of our winners, actually. Where is the comment that I was going to talk about here? Oh, here it is. No, I lost it again. I don't know. I'm failing. But anyway, let's move on. Let's see here. Larry says, we've got F-Kit says pre-surgery Dan Bailey. Totally agree. Let's see here. So we've got all of our losers covered. I lost my comments. That's fine. We've got all of our losers covered. We've talked all 4 losers that we have here. Let's go back to winners, all right? Because our winners that we've mentioned, Trayvon Diggs, Zeke Elliott, Osa Odighizuwa, Dalton Schultz, we have not mentioned Cedric Wilson. How have we not mentioned Cedric Wilson yet? In fact, I blame you all, because how have we not mentioned Cedric Wilson? Cedric Wilson, we thought last week would go off with Michael Gallup first out. Didn't necessarily happen. Wasn't in the game script. Cowboys ran the ball a billion times. Cedric Wilson was phenomenal in this game. Cedric Wilson was amazing in this game. Brian Rail said played great. Totally agreed. I mean, man, Anoe says Cedric Wilson is consistent. Totally agreed. Burmy Star said he killed it. Cedric Wilson, the first play we're going to show you didn't technically count, but it should have. All right, because this was amazing. Let's see. I'm finding this here. Here it is. This should count just off of impressiveness alone.
3rd and 10 from the 6. Prescott throwing across his body down the sideline. And let's see. They're going to call that a catch. Cedric Wilson ace.
This is unbelievable. The concentration takes it right off of the top of Avonte Maddox's head.
Only 1 foot in, though. They're going to try to go fast, but they're not going to allow this one to stand. As good.
I know. I mean, I know. He's only got 1 foot in, but, I mean, who cares? Who cares? Pedro, by the way, said, I said this 20 minutes ago, RJ Pedro, my bad. That's on me. There's a lot of comments flying in. Again, it's a state of ecstasy. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles. That's my bad. That's on me. But, man alive, I mean, this should have counted. This just should have absolutely counted, because it was that incredible. I mean, just really that incredible. The other catch that he had that is notable was notable because it was a touchdown. Cedric Wilson got on the board.
Prescott's looking left the whole time. Now running to his right. The throw back of the end zone. Cedric Wilson, touchdown Cowboys.
Now, I don't want to pull an ESPN here because they made sure to tell us 1,000 times that this was Dak Prescott's first game back at AT&T Stadium since the injury. But in the interest of poetry, the last time before tonight that Dak Prescott played a game at AT&T Stadium, Cedric Wilson threw him a touchdown. And in this game, Dak Prescott threw Cedric Wilson a touchdown. So full circle. Everything went full circle right there. And that's, that doesn't tug at your old corazon. I mean, you made a steal. You know what I mean? Like Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele wasn't on, the list, but I thought Terrence Steele was awesome again tonight. I mean, relatively speaking, Terrence Steele has just really, really been incredible for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's see here. We've gone through winners. We've gone through losers. I had Anthony Brown as an honorable mention. We already talked about him. Tony Pollard, an honorable mention, just because, I mean, did it again. Didn't have the highlight game that everybody wanted to see. But Tony Pollard just, again, offers the Cowboys something different offensively. Finally, honorable mention, before we continue with your comments here, Dak Prescott. I mean, this was a really impressive game from Dak. And I think a lot of people last week, oh no, what happened? Dak barely threw the ball. What's going on here, man? Did the Cowboys going to run the ball a billion times? I mean, what's going to happen here? Guess what? If Dak has to throw it, he's going to throw it. Dak Prescott was incredible. I mean, he really was amazing in this game. And it's hard to really kind of contextualize that. He's that dude. I mean, he is that dude in every conceivable way for the Dallas Cowboys. And so congratulations to Dak Prescott, one of our honorable mentions. Those are the winners and losers and honorable mentions I have. Let's see your comments. What do you want to talk about? Anything you want to talk about. By the way, the winners and losers, for those of you who got here late, and I will write about this at blogontheboys.com. It'll be available on Tuesday morning. Winners, Trayvon Diggs, Zeke Elliott, Osa Digizua, Cedric Wilson, Dalton Schultz. 5 winners. 4 losers. We had Mike McCarthy, Tyler Biadasz, Greg Zuerlein, and NFL officiating, because that was definitely a touchdown. Finally, 3 honorable mentions, Anthony Brown, Tony Pollard, and Dak Prescott. So what do we want to talk about? Anything you want. Again, I am a man of the people here. Ron, I don't have him as a loser, but says losers Connor Williams. Seriously, not a great game for Connor Williams. I mean, really a poor game for Connor Williams, if we're being totally honest with ourselves. So tough cookies. Colby says, can we talk? I love this question, Colby. Can we talk about how good the safety group has been? Donovan Wilson's not playing, obviously, as we all know, with the groin issue. Jaron Kearse, DeMonte KZ, who I just saw right now, gave the pregame speech for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, like, this is totally different. We are not used to this. We are not used to sustained, stable, reliable, trustworthy safety play, and the Cowboys have it. I mean, they do. And do they have Malik Hooker? I mean, the Cowboys don't have, like a safety that is going to make the Pro Bowl or be an all-pro or anything, but they have safeties that can really, 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 really help them out, which has not been the case for a very long time. Let's see here. I saw a question that we want. Oh, Greg says Kennedy struggled. Yeah, Maurice Kennedy, this was tough. Maurice Kennedy was flagged for 2 different penalties on one play and still gave up the catch. A lot of us have been singing, the songs of Maurice Kennedy, especially after training camp. But man, this was tough for Maurice Kennedy. Let's see here. Jalen Smith, Alan Mad Plume says Jalen Smith. You know what? Jalen has been what the Cowboys need. I will say that. Jalen has been what the Cowboys have needed in the last 2 games when Micah Parsons has played defensive end. And all the credit in the world to Jalen Smith. He high-fived a cheerleader in this game, but, and that was when things were a little bit touch and go for the Cowboys. But I thought that, it was a nice game for Jalen Smith. And was it anything special? Was it a huge splash? No, but Jalen has been, again, kind of like the safety play, has been stable. I mean, the floor of the Cowboys defense has really been raised, and call that Dan Quinn, call that just another year. But the floor of everything has been raised, and we're starting to see the effects of that week after week after week after week, again, generating all of these turnovers. Garrett Wilson says, did we have any injuries? I don't think so. No injuries to note. By the way, this from NFL Next Gen Stats, in case we want more Micah Parsons love. In his 3rd career NFL game, Micah Parsons led the Cowboys in quarterback pressures with 5, pass rush get off 0.87 seconds, and hustle stops with 3. Only 2 defenders have finished with more hustle stops in a game this season, Budda Baker and Jesse Bates. So the fact that Micah Parsons athletically is in the mix here is just, stunned. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing when you consider some of the draft wins the Cowboys have had over the last 2 years. Obviously, Micah Parsons, Osa Digizua this year, last year, CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon Diggs. It's really amazing to consider that the Cowboys drafted Trayvon Diggs last year and that he wasn't even their first-round pick. That's nuts. Let's see here. David, looking ahead. I like this. Says, a little premature, but how do you see the game against the Panthers? Here's the thing, David. I think the Cowboys, and call me a homer if you want, all right? I think the Cowboys are going 5-1. All right. I think the Cowboys are going 5-1. In case anybody's unaware, let's get this up here. I know we have we have the schedule up here. Let's see. Let's find this. So here's where we're at. The Dallas Cowboys obviously now are 2-1. These are their next 3 games before the bye. You're looking at them on the screen. They have the Carolina Panthers on Sunday with no Christian McCaffrey and no J.C. Horn. Bummer that they're both hurt, obviously. And then you've got the New York Giants next week. Both of these games are at home, by the way, the Panthers and the Giants. The Giants, the worst team in the NFL, worst offense in the NFL. And then you visit the Patriots. And I think we've all kind of held this reservation about the Patriots, thinking, okay, are they going to be good? Is Bill Belichick going to be able to do something? Is Mac Jones, et cetera? Early on, it doesn't look like that's the case. I mean, so you tell me, if you're watching along live with us, what is the Cowboys record through these games, through the games you're looking at on your screen right now? What is the Cowboys record? They have their bye after that, by the way, but what is the Cowboys record after this? They are 2-1 at the present, in our present moment right now. What is the Cowboys record when they get through week 6 and they get to their bye, which theoretically will be when Lyle Collins comes back from suspension, when Michael Gallup comes back, whatever. Everyone's saying 5-1. Cowboys fan 69 nice says has to be 5-1. Colby says 5-1 unless they beat themselves. I agree. And Blade brings up again that the Cowboys get their players back. Everybody says 5-1. Got a lot of 5-1s here. Isael says 4-2, a little bit more measured. Whatever. Watsamata says Carolina's still a paper tiger. Totally agreed. 100% agreed. Carolina has, I know they beat the Jets in week 1, and that's fine. They beat the Saints in week 2, which definitely is a little bit interesting to look at right now. And then they beat the Texans. So I don't think that the Panthers really have a quality win, on their resume right now. So I think the Cowboys, worst case scenario, and I know that people will say, no, I want to be 5-1, but worst case scenario is the Cowboys are 4-2 at the bye. And if we had told you that, if we had all if I had talked to you at the beginning of the season, if I had talked to you, a month before the season, and I said, I can guarantee you right now the Cowboys will be 4-2 at the bye week, will you take that? 100% you would have taken that. You would have taken that 10 out of 10 times. And that's a really exciting thing to think about. Now, Colby says New York Giants feels like it could be a trap game for them. Colby, love you. No way. No way on earth. The Giants are terrible. I mean, the Eagles could beat the Giants. I mean, to put it in perspective, the Giants are awful. I mean, the Giants are just disgustingly bad. Shout out Jason Garrett. So I'm not worried. I'm a little bit worried about not worried, but I'm a little bit aware of the Panthers game. I'm a teeny little bit worried about the Patriots game just because it is the Patriots. But I mean, man, it's tough. Kevin says the Giants coaching staff may be fired by the time we play them. That's fair. Let's see here. Where was this one? Lil Boat says Giants are worse than the Eagles. Agree with that. And Raj says, not afraid of Carolina's offense, but the defense, on the other hand, is a different story. Agree with this. Carolina has a great front 7, and that's interesting. But man, let's see here. As we contextualize where we're at, because the Cowboys now 2-1 again, let's say it again. The Dallas Cowboys defeated the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday night. Philadelphia Eagles are losers and the Dallas Cowboys winners. In fact, let's put this up here because the Dallas Cowboys were the only team in the NFC East to win in week 3. And there's a high probability that they are the only team in the NFC East to win again in week 4. The Dallas Cowboys now 2-1, the only team in the NFC East to have 2 wins. They have the same amount of wins as the rest of the division combined. They play the Carolina Panthers on Sunday, as we've mentioned. The Philadelphia Eagles are 1-2. They're upset. They're sad. Nick Sirianni needs another shirt. And their prize is they get to play the Kansas City Chiefs, who are trying to come off of a 2-game losing streak. Andy Reid, we hope he's doing well, looking for his 100th win with the Chiefs against his former team that he had over 100 wins with. So, yeah, I think the Eagles are in some tough water. The Washington football team playing the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, the Falcons are bad, but the Washington football team is bad. Maybe Washington wins. And the Giants are playing the Saints. I mean, what can you do but laugh at the Giants? I mean, seriously, it's hilarious. But let's see here. Braden says, I remember coming to this channel and watching you after the draft, and everyone hated the Parsons pick. I had lukewarm feelings, but overall optimistic at the time. Crazy full circle. Braden, look, I'm be honest with you. I did hate the Parsons pick, and I think everybody had full right to hate the Parsons pick because taking a linebacker with the 10th overall, what became the 12th overall pick, is not a great utilization of resources. And we were pissed because Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn went the very 2 picks before the Cowboys were on the clock to take Micah Parsons. So, yeah, I was pissed, and I'm still pissed. You know, like you want a cornerback. You want a premier position with a high-value resource like that. And so I don't feel badly for that. I'm super pumped that Micah Parsons has wound up being amazing. But Patrick Surtain has been awesome, and again, it sucks that JC Horn got hurt, but Micah has definitely softened the blow from that. But it was understandable to be upset because the financial investment, both literally and the draft resource was a lot to make to give and to spend on a linebacker. And so that's just a tough thing to process sometimes. But Rout Wedding says, not me. I always love the Micah pick. Well, Rout Wedding, you're smarter than the rest of us, obviously. I do agree with this. What Majestic Detail says, they took the best player on the board. Now, Evan brings up an interesting question. Do the Cowboys get anyone back this week? Technically, Kelvin Joseph could return. Technically, he could because he was on injured reserve. You have to be on injured reserve for at least 3 weeks and you're placed on it. So technically, he could return. So we will see ultimately, what happens here. My cousin, by the way, says, can we get a show of hands who would still want Horn or Surtain over Parsons from what we've seen through 3 weeks? I don't think anyone would, but I tell you what, if you would rather have Patrick Surtain over Micah Parsons, I don't 100% disagree, but I get obviously, that you, the average person, are happy with Micah Parsons. You would be silly not to be, but and some of that is that we haven't seen Kelvin Joseph. Andre asks, what is happening with Kelvin Joseph? Again, he's eligible to return off injured reserve. If Kelvin Joseph balls out and, we're all going to compare him to Asante Samuel Jr. for the rest of his career. And he had that pick last week against the Chiefs, which was amazing. But if Kelvin Joseph comes in and is great, then we're all going to feel a lot better about the Micah Parsons. We're going to feel even better. Brian, thank you so much for the super chat. Brian, if you have a question, we'll definitely get to it. I don't know. I know sometimes it's difficult to ultimately get them in there. But here we go. Brian says, Zeke and Pollard could be the next Emmett and Moose if utilized correctly. Can we discuss? I think they can definitely be a great backfield for the team. And I don't know that Emmett and Moose is the comp. Somebody brought up Marion Barber earlier. I think the comp might be Julius Jones, Marion Barber, might be Marion Barber, Felix Jones. Actually, might be Felix Jones to Tashard Choice. I don't know that Moose is the right comp there, but there's a lot to like about that. Could be, could be. There's a lot. Could be anybody. Any great pair, really. Could be D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart. That's kind of the one I've been thinking about a lot. Could be what they had in Carolina. But, I don't know that, Moose is the one for me. But let's see here. Cornfits is Derrick Henry, DeMarco Murray. I don't know about that. But let's see here. This is a great point on Micah, by the way, from James. Says, well, since he now qualifies as a defensive end, wouldn't it mean he was a premium position as a premium pick? That's a great point. Is he going to play defensive end forever? Because if so, 100% agree with you. But if he's going to move back to linebacker, the point stands. And he was a linebacker at the point of the draft. Let's not, relitigate this. But let's see here. I have a question for all of you. So we know that the Cowboys have 3 games left before their bye week, okay? And I'll put this up here for you one more time. We know that there are 3 games left, all right, before the bye. We know that Lyle Collins is going to be out for every game until the bye. So all the games you're looking at, no Lyle Collins. Michael Gallup was placed on injured reserve prior to the Chargers game, okay? And again, we just stated the rules. When you're on injured reserve, you have to be out for at least 3 games, okay? So we're playing hypothetical here. Keep that in mind. We're playing hypothetical. Michael Gallup has now been out for 2 games. He has to be out for this Sunday's game against the Panthers. Okay, let's say the Cowboys win that game. We're all confident that they will, right? Generally speaking. Say Michael Gallup is I don't know, 85% healthy. Again, we're making some stuff up for the purposes of conversation. Say Michael Gallup is 85% healthy. The Cowboys are 3-1 after Sunday, a week from today, 6 days from today. The Cowboys are 3-1. Would you bring Michael Gallup back for the Giants game? Would you bring him back for the Patriots game? Or would you keep Michael Gallup on injured reserve through the bye, which is week 7 for the Dallas Cowboys, so that he can possibly get as healthy as possible and you can have him for the second half of this season? Because I think that's an interesting question. And how you're doing. And obviously, circumstances can change. Amari, obviously has this rib thing, what you never know is going to happen. But we're talking about kind of just in a general way. What would you do with Michael Gallup? Would you leave him on ice? Would you bring him back? And again, I'm not saying if he's 50%, you bring him back. Obviously, we all agree with that. We're talking in the, general kind of idea of, normal common sense here. a lot of you are saying this. Rage says Pat's game for Gallup. Yeah, maybe if you beat the Panthers and the Giants, you get to 5-1. You have one game left before the bye. You bring him back. You kind of, maybe he's not involved a lot against New England, but you have him as an option. Remember, Stephon Gilmore is on the PUP list for the Patriots, which is different than IR. It means he has to be out or has to be on it for the first 6 weeks of the season. So the Cowboys are guaranteed to play the Patriots without Stephon Gilmore on the field. Watsamata says save Gallup, good strategy, said is not costing us. I agree with that. I mean, it's fair. Cactus G says no rush yet. Agree with it. And again, most of you agreeing. Marshall says have him available for the Patriots game, but only play him if you need him. Again, Cedric Wilson really going a long way and making this a lot easier with him. Again, Cowboys are 2-0 without Michael Gallup. The Cowboys are 2-0 without Michael Gallup, DeMarcus Lawrence, Ty Nsekhe, Donovan Wilson. I mean, who would have ever thought that was going to be the case? I mean, the Cowboys have really gone a long way here. Hillary Molly, thank you again, Molly. Seriously, thank you for the super chat. Says get Michael and Coop as healthy as possible for the later part of the season. Totally agree. Totally 100% agree. The Cowboys offense is not struggling without Michael Gallup. And I don't say that to say he is not valuable or doesn't present a huge advantage for their offense. But right now, you don't need to rush him. You have the luxury and the benefit of time, which is why beating these crap teams like the Eagles is important. You have to win these games because guess what's coming down the stretch? You know, after the bye, Cowboys visit the Minnesota Vikings. And I know I've talked a lot about maybe Kellen Mond starts, whatever. It doesn't look that way, obviously. And the Vikings are an interesting team. They're only 1-2, but I mean, they are an intimidating 1-2 team. They could very arguably be 3-0 if not for a couple of, fluke things. So, I mean, that Vikings game is a little bit tougher than we thought it was going to be. The Falcons game is not that difficult, but the Cowboys got to play the Chiefs. The Cowboys got to play the Raiders on Thanksgiving. We thought that was going to be a walk in the park, but the Raiders certainly look a little bit tougher than a lot of people imagine, although a little bit of a paper tiger there as well. Got to play the Saints 7 days later. I mean, the good news is that the NFC East is trash, but I mean, if you have an opportunity to rest Michael Gallup, to get him proper, to get him right, I think you want to take every advantage to ultimately do that. And ultimately, I agree with this from Austin. It says, ask Dak if he wants to keep Michael out. Look, I mean, if Dak wants him back, then, you do what Dak wants. So those are the rules. Yeah, I know we've shown this already tonight, but it just, seriously, Nick Sirianni, dude, this was maybe the worst possible way that this could have gone for the Philadelphia Eagles. Think about that. This is maybe tonight. Actually, let's say this. I'll ask you, yes or no. Is this the worst loss or the worst way the Eagles could have lost to the Cowboys? And let's be honest. All right, let's be fair. Because I think the answer is yes. Even if we're being honest, even if we're being fair, even if we're not making jokes, even if we're not, just being sarcastic, I really believe this is the worst way that the Eagles could have lost. Nick Sirianni, and respect, in a weird way for trying to make this fun and trying to, incite the rivalry. But when you do that, you run an enormous risk of losing and getting embarrassed. And the Eagles did not just lose. The Eagles barely lost to the 49ers. But, I mean, they got embarrassed by the Dallas Cowboys after their head coach talked all about how this was a big game for them. Nick, if you might have missed this report earlier because you're a busy person. You got a busy life. That's why we're here, to educate you and to tell you what's happening in the world of the Dallas Cowboys. But in case you missed this, Nick Sirianni said this week that he got a bunch of Eagles veterans to narrate a video to talk about the importance of beating the Cowboys and, found players' moments from college where they excelled against their rivals, so, I guess Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma against Texas, I guess, Devontae Smith against Auburn, he put together this big old thing and then just got demolished. I mean, so if you're an Eagles player, I mean, how do you take anything he says seriously? It's all empty from now on. Josh G says embarrassing. Odessa says yes, because their coach gave Bill more material. Like, again, I like that Nick Sirianni, like in a vacuum, I like that he is, kind of trying to be cool and have fun. The highlighter thing I can't do, but I like that he wore the Jalen Hurts shirt last week. Like, that's cool, but he poked the bear this week and it blew up in his face. And he really is in a tough way to go. Where Fans Meet says, have you seen the Eagles' next 4 games? We do not have a graphic for you, but I can read it to you. Remember, the Philadelphia Eagles are now 1-2, and the Eagles, most importantly, suck and are terrible. But the Eagles' next games, as mentioned, so they play the Chiefs on Sunday, then they visit the Panthers, who, again, we just all talked about how they're kind of paper tigers. But after that, they play the Buccaneers at home, and that's on a Thursday night. So they get the world champs on a short week. And after that, they visit the Las Vegas Raiders. It's very possible that the Eagles lose 3 of their next 4 games, and you just would hate to see that. I mean, so I don't know what shirts Nick Sirianni is going to wear for the duration of this season, but Paul Beebe says he poked the bear and his team did not back him up. And that's maybe the Eagles, and we've seen this, all right, and this is not fun when this happens. The Eagles quit tonight. The Eagles quit tonight. I don't think there's any denying that. And that is maybe what the most impressive thing about this game is to me, that the Dallas Cowboys forced another team to quit. And we haven't went. Actually, I'll ask you this way. What was the last Cowboys win that had you feeling this good? Think about it. What was the last Cowboys win? Because I know the answer, but I'm curious because I know that no win last year. Look, we all had fun, with the watermelon smashing against the Vikings. And yeah, the Cowboys beat the Bengals and the 49ers, but none of the wins last year felt good. You know what I mean? And I know they beat the Falcons last year in a really thrilling game, but we didn't feel good. All right. We felt relieved and we were happy. But I mean, when was the last time you felt like this? And let's see here. We've got Cowboys fan 69 says Seahawks 2019. LOL. That's the playoff win for the Cowboys in the wild card round. That's not the answer. Just being honest here. Let's see here. Braden says the Pittsburgh win in 2016. Also not the answer, but a nice suggestion. Colby says the Saints game a few years ago. Again, and a lot of you actually said the Saints game here. Pedro has the answer. Pedro says the Rams game at home in 2019. That was before everything really broke for the Cowboys in 2019. And at the time, the Rams were obviously entering a space where, they were going to dwindle, and obviously that's why they got rid of Jared Goff after last season and traded for Matthew Stafford. But at the time in 2019, the Rams were still regarded as one of the more elite teams in the NFC before they broke off again. And the Cowboys had their way with them. Sean Lee had an interception. That was a really great day. The Cowboys kept themselves alive in the playoff hunt. They really just had their way with the Rams, and then they lost to the Eagles obviously on the road. But that was the last time that they kind of won with authority. Ever since then, it's just, and again, Dak got hurt. So last year is kind of just a terrible sample overall. But, that was a really, really, really not powerful, but really impressive win from the Cowboys. But a lot of you have mentioned the Saints game in 2018, and that was a great win. But I still think there were other wins in 2019, even before this Rams game, that were big. I mean, the Cowboys beat the Eagles big in 2019 on October 20th. That was the night the Dak dance was born. They won that game something like 30-17. I mean, so it's nice. And it's nice to see that happen for the first time under Mike McCarthy, even though he had the whoopsie-daisy at the end of the first half. Thank you, Brian, for the super chats. It's props, the 956. That's where I'm from, baby. Great show as always, RJ. Love the Cowboys and love the coverage. We're going to be scary when everyone gets healthy. That's the really fun thing. I think the Cowboys are already scary. I think the Cowboys are already a really scary team. And I think that they're certainly in the mix to compete in the NFC. The Cowboys are winning the NFC East, right? Like we're all willing to. I can't even ask the question in a serious way. The Rams are the standard in the NFC right now, this week, right? Like, because it changes week to week. The Buccaneers are obviously very, very good. The Packers look like they might be back, which is super annoying. The Cardinals look good. I think the Cowboys, I think we all like their chances when they're healthy, to the point, of competing with a lot of these teams. We saw them go toe-to-toe with the Buccaneers. We won't get to see them play the Rams this year, but I mean, there's a lot to be excited about. There's opportunity, there's potential, there's chances. And so we'll see what the season ultimately yields. But right now the Cowboys are off to a very good start, and that's a lot of fun. Let's see here. Watsamada says, think we may finally get some power ranking love now. I'll actually let all of you decide this as we get ready to wind down here. I write power rankings every week. Say that. That's hard. Power rankings every week at bloggingtheboys.com. I've been higher on the Cowboys than most people, but where should the Cowboys be ranked? Where should the Cowboys be ranked? They're the best team in the NFL. I think I had them at 10th last week. I think that these, I'll put it this way. These are the teams, and I'm looking at helmets here. These are the teams that I would put above the Cowboys right now. All right. I would put not the Bills. The Bills are right there. Maybe the Bills, but okay. In the NFC, I'd put the Packers above the Cowboys. I would put the Rams. I would put the Bucs. I would put the Cardinals. That's 4. After that, it's tough. I don't even know that I would put the 49ers. The 49ers aren't impressive. Their offense is so trapped by Jimmy Garoppolo. So that's 4 right there. On the AFC side, I'd still put the Chiefs, even though they're 1-2. I would not put the Chargers, obviously. I would put the Bills. I'm touch and go on the Bills. I think you have to put the Raiders right now because they're undefeated. I don't believe in the Broncos, and so I'm not going to put the Broncos there. But I think the Cowboys are around somewhere between 7 and 9. I think they're around 7 and 9. The Browns are in that mix too. So I think the Cowboys are kind of maybe 6, 7, 8, 9. Depending on how you shake things out, depending what kind of mood you're in, the Cowboys are definitely in that mix. But last week, actually, some outlets, as Watsamata, I think, is intimating here, some outlets dropped the Cowboys after they beat the Chargers, which was very weird. So hopefully a lot of people have woken up now. That sometimes happens when you get a big win on national, prime time and national television and whatnot. Let's see here. Alan says the Broncos opponents are 0-9. Broncos are about to come down to earth, people. All right, like, again, I don't want to bag on them, but the Broncos have beaten the Giants, the Jaguars, and the Jets. All right, the Broncos are seriously, they play the Ravens this week. So the Broncos gonna, really, figure things out a little bit here. But yeah, so my name is RJ Ochoa. You know me from bloggingtheboys.com, Blogging the Boys YouTube channel right here, Blogging the Boys Podcast Network. I say this all the time. It is the sickest thing in the world. It is the coolest thing in the world that we can all come together and enjoy the Dallas Cowboys together. We appreciate those of you who join us on our live shows, who watch after the fact, who listen to our podcast, who read our articles, who participate along on social media. These are the moments that are so much fun. These are the moments that we look forward to in April, in June, in July, because we just can't wait. We just cannot wait. And these moments specifically, when the Cowboys just beat down a division rival and give us, this week's going to be awesome, right? This week's going to be awesome because the Cowboys had their way with the Philadelphia Eagles, and we have every right in the world to talk crap for a whole week, for a whole, now 14 weeks in the end of 15 weeks, because the Cowboys don't play the Eagles till week 18. And so this is what it's all about. This is what's so much fun. We take it very, very, very seriously to give you the best Cowboys coverage that we possibly can. And we're so grateful that you choose us in any capacity. If you want to help us out, please do subscribe here to the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our podcast network. Leave a rating, write a review. Those things go a long way at helping us out. Alan has a great point. Winner, Cowboys. Seriously, I mean, what a great day. What a just fantastic, fantastic day. We'll have a new episode of the 750 with myself and Tony Casillas tomorrow on the Blogging the Boys Podcast Network. Power rankings, like I said, it's going to be a busy week. We will have highlights from this game. There's a lot of them. Highlights from tonight's win over the Eagles coming on Tuesday morning to the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. And we're going to have a video this week talking about turnovers because it's enough. We got to talk about the turnovers. So please do subscribe here to the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. And do me a favor. Have just a great day. Have an incredible day. I left this comment up here that says Terrence Steele. Somebody mentioned. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. The United States won the Ryder Cup. I mean, America's team won twice. And that's a very, 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 very cool thing. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't you forget it. Victory Polo Monday tomorrow. We love you all.